Okay, so I believe we are live now. So, okay, so today is day 5, and we have to talk about your ACL part, how ACL are helping in network security domain. So, first thing is if we have to, okay, so what I have to tell you, there is a series of things that we need to plan. Number one, we should be very, very aware of how network, internet, so many things. There are the what are the components of internet. So far we know like there is something called IP addressing, something is NATing, and then we have some devices also. Router is there, switch is there, firewall will be definitely the part. So these are the all components, and the agenda of this series is not expecting 10 on 10 from everyone whosoever will be watching this one. It is like you can just say it will be a big very beginning, so that you can just listen and you can come to know, okay, these are the things that I have to learn further. So this will be a kind of very, very beginner level stuff for everyone. Okay, so if you are not from networking background. So today's topic is, it is day 5, and we have to talk about ACL and a certain kind of rules. Okay, so now when we talk about ACL, ACL stands for access control lists. Okay, so that is the full form for ACL. And why do we need ACL? So we'll come to that point later on. Before that, let's take one short example. So now I would need a little bit interaction with maybe Tej, Nagul, both of you, because I just want to, this topic is like that only. So when we say in computer science or cybersecurity, there are two words which are very, very strong words. One is called static, another one is called dynamic. Okay, so these two words will come again and again, even if you will be talking about ACL. Okay, even if you will be talking about routing, then if you will be talking about anything related to NAT. So these both words will definitely come into picture over and over again. So the meaning of static and dynamic will be, it is important to understand what do you mean by static and dynamic with respect to each and every context here. So first thing is, when I say something is static, okay, if you are talking about static thing, so that means you have to, if you have a networking device, let it be you are doing something statically or dynamically. Now, at end of the day, you have to understand you are configuring your networking device. That means it could be a router, it could be a firewall, and so on. So now you can configure so many things statically, and you can configure those same things dynamically also. Now, for example, if you are saying I am applying NAT, why I'm taking the example from NAT? Because you have already covered the NAT. Okay. If you are saying I'm going to apply static NAT, so static NAT, we remember it is very bidirectional and very, very one-to-one mapping. So it will be bidirectional. Bidirectional, yes. And you have to be assured whatever you want. I mean, here the source and the destination side, we can say, what will be your original private IP, and whosoever will be your public IP. We normally call it translated public IP. So these are forever. It is like once it is fixed, it is fixed. Now, throughout your firewalling, throughout your network trafficking, they won't be changed until and unless, being the network administration, you are not changing the configuration. So that means if you are doing static configuration, it is only you who will change the way, otherwise it will be forever there. So that is static in nature. So in this case, we do have certain kind of positives, negatives also. Positive is like it is very secure. Not in that sense I'm saying. Positive means like nobody, it is simple and nobody will be fighting for what is my IP and why you are taking my translation, and also it is like simple thing, easy to configure. But when you talk about security point of view, so now the idea will be you are vulnerable in this case because everyone knows your public IP. So static means everything. Let it be your original thing and let it be your final thing, whatever you will be doing in terms of ACL routing and netting, whatever you are doing. So in static, if you are doing something, that means you are giving the both things at the same time. Okay. So example, I want to translate 10.0.0.1 to 100.0.0.1. So it is now static and it will be final thing. Nobody else can take it. For example, if 10.0.0.2 is also there in the network, they cannot take it simply. They have to go for any other IP. So let's say it can be like this. So now that is the overall idea I'm saying. If you are saying it is a dynamic in nature, okay, now what do you mean by dynamic? Now let's say I said I have a network called TENS network. You imagine now you do have a notebook, okay? So let's say you have a notebook like that. And within that notebook, you have some pages also, page number 1, page number 2, page number 3. And on each page, you just writing few things. You are saying, I have TENS network. Okay. So that means here you have just mentioned TENS network. And now this same way you have to understand this TENS network, you can take further any action dynamically. So that means every time if you have, let's say 100 IPs, you need not to enter 100 entries. You just simple say, I have TENS network. In this TENS network, I want to translate it to hundreds network. That's all. So you just need to say on page number 1, it's a 10. Maybe go to page number 2 and say it's 100. Now what you need to do, you need to go to the router, you need to say refer page number 1 for my private IPs and refer page number 2 for my public translations. Making sense or not? Whatever I'm trying, I'm not being actually very technical in nature, so that you should actually understand the concept. Here it's not all about implementation. Sometimes it is how the process is behind working. So dynamic means you are not giving the actual thing, one-to-one IPs. You are just saying anyone from TENS network will be there and you please translate it to whatever you feel easy with hundreds network. Okay. So that is okay, Abhishek, thank you. So now what you need to do, same thing. If I want to say, what about routing? Routing is a process when your router is not able to do anything further. It has to check with any of the neighborhood. Do you know the destination? If this guy does not know, do you know the destination? So on. I mean, this chain will be keep on going on. So now if you are configuring this process called routing, if you are doing one by one router and you are saying if you don't know about 20s network, go to router number 2. So you are saying if you don't know about 30s network, let's say you go to router number 3 in this case. So you are telling your router each and every single thing one by one. Now another thing that could be done, you are saying now if let's say it's not about 20 and 30 only, in future maybe you never know how many networks you have to come into picture with, and you don't know how many networks will be participating in your trafficking and communications. So this router will be simply not able to perform anything if you are just saying statically here, because he or she, this router will not be able to recognize what to do with 40, 50, 60 and anything, I mean, which is not just 20, 30. This router will behave like dumb. So in this case, what you need to do when you are in the internet thing, you have to say, I know 20 and 30. Let's say now the situation is changed. Okay, we will say we have a router, and this router, maybe one more router, they all are connected. So you can say this is from one city to another city. This is coming from city 1 to city 2, city 3, like that. This is router number 1, router number 2, router number 3. And same thing also, it can keep on going like in future also. So what you need to do now, if this is the router, this router knows, let's say 10th network. This is 10.001 IP, whatever it is connected over here. This is 10.002 because they both are directly connected. So they should belong to the same network here. Here it is 20.001 and that other side will be 20.002. Similarly, this can be 30's network or any other network. So you can say this is 30.001 and 30.002. It need not to be in the same way 1 and 2. You can have any configuration. So I'm just taking one example. So what will be the static nature of this routing process? Router number 1 knows how many total networks we have: 10, 20 and 30. Okay, so total you have 10, then you have 20 and then you have 30. Out of 10, 20, 30, router number 1 knows only about 10's network. So this guy is only and only aware of 10's network. What about router number 2? Router number 2 is aware of 10 and 20. So that means 10 and 20 both are here. What about router number 3? Router number 3 knows 20 and 30. Similarly, router number 4 is only and only aware of 30. So now if you have to configure static routing so that router number 1 to 4 all will be communicating with each other, they should have a path from each other. So you need to go to router number 1 and you have to say, okay, you don't know about 20 and 30, I tell you how to go there. So you say if you want to go to 20 and 30, you can ask this fellow, just pass the traffic to this fellow. Similarly, you have to follow the same process. On router number 2, you have to say, okay, you don't know about 30's network and you don't know about 40's network. Similarly, 40 will also come into picture here in the previous example. So here you have to say, if you want to know about 30 and 40's network, this 20.002 will help you. On router number 3, you have to say, okay, you have to go to any network which is not connected to you, which is 10 maybe, and then you can go simply via 20.001. So that means you are very, very static in nature. You are just guiding your routers too much. So that is a static in nature. But what will be the dynamically nature? Dynamic wise, you are just giving the responsibility of this routing table to routers only through routing protocols. You might have heard about RIP, EIGRP, OSPF. These all are the things that will come into picture now. It is not your duty now to check what is missing and how to reach out to them. On router number 1, you will say simple, I know 10's network. If anyone wants to go to 10's network, you guys come to me. Second router will say, I know 10 and 20. If anyone needs help on 10 and 20, you can come to me. Similarly, these all people will now, they won't check their missing thing. They will say, we know this. If you want to have any help, you can come to us. So ultimately, they will start communicating with each other. So they will start updating the routing table. At end of the day, everyone will be having 10, 20 and 30 networks on their table. So that is what dynamic nature will come into picture. So my point was, whenever you are talking about ACL, static or dynamically, so you have to talk about that is the usage of these ACLs only. So now ACL is just like a notebook that you are having, and it will be having page numbers. So every page of this notebook is called your ACL only. So right now, which ACL I am into? I am into ACL number 1. Okay, this number has a huge meaning. If you are putting anything between 1 to 99, then you will be on standard ACL. If you are going from 100 to 199, it will be extended ACL. Okay, so that is how the things will be working. So in standard and extended, standard means if I'm saying 10's network is blocked, simple. 10's network is blocked means you simply blocked it from everywhere. You never mentioned 10's network is blocked from reaching out to 20 or 30. Maybe it can go to 40 but cannot go to 20. So you never mentioned the direction. You just say this fellow is blocked. You never talk about the other part of the statement. You always have one parameter at a time. So that is your standard ACL. So you will never have two parties, you will have only one thing to work with, and that will be either fully allowed or it will be fully blocked. Next will be your extended. Now you do have the liberty to talk about tens network is not going to talk with 20s. That means it is denied on 20s network, but at the same time you can allow the traffic from 10 to 40. So this is a direction that you can have in extended. So there are other so many options also, but the difference between the working of these things will be the number that you will give them. So ACL is just like a page that you have to consider, and whenever you are applying netting also statically, you can give the entries into directly during the net configuration. If you want to apply dynamically, then you can always take the help from ACL. So all these topics are very related to each other. So ACL is just like a topic of to understanding. If you are saying you do have a notebook and you just writing, so now if you want to use ACL for the NAT purpose, let's say statically, if you want to say, I have tens network here and I just want to translate it to hundreds network. So now you are not going to say 10.001 is mapping to this and that. So dynamically now, so every kind of dynamic NAT will have the help from ACL. You will say go to ACL number 1, and whatever is written there, it is allowed to be taken any action on now, and refer this ACL and translate it to this IP. And also this is not you cannot mention like this. You do have another terminology, it is called pool, IP pool. So that means whenever you have to refer those things from the original IPs, you will refer ACL. So it is dynamic NAT I'm talking about. So you will take all the private IPs from any ACL number that you might have given, and they will be getting translated to as per the IP pool that you will give. So that is all about your dynamic NAT. So ACL and NAT, they are very much closely coupled. So you have to understand both the things in a very practical way. Again, in these 30 minutes, it will not be possible for me to go for those demonstration. But yes, every lab is already prepared. If you want, you can just email me or ping me. I'll be giving you those all configurations. But if you are very new in networking, so it may be taking a little while to understand those configuration. So but idea is you need to implement these also. Maybe if I'll be getting some enough time, I'll in one session I'll configure all those labs in one video. So that will depend how the things will be done. Okay, so that is all about your ACL. So ACL is like sometime you have to just say deny, you have to say something is blocked. So these kind of rules nowadays on firewalls, they are called rules. Earlier times they were called ACL, because your router is the one that in earlier times it was being implemented as just as a firewall only. Now we do have a full-fledged software and hardware that is already in the market. So we do have firewalls, not just a firewall, we do have next generation firewalls. Okay, so these ACLs are no longer being called as ACL on firewalls, they are called as rules. So that is the connection between rules and ACL. So you have, imagine you do have a notebook. On page number 1 you said I'll wake up by 5 o'clock in the morning, and next day you say this page number 1 I'll always refer. Maybe after waking up 5 o'clock in the morning, you can go for a morning walk. Maybe you should start studying. Action is the next thing. So whatever the action you want to take on page number 1, that is depending upon the situation. But the source will be page number 1 of your ACL. Okay. So that is all about your ACLs. If you have any question, do let me know. Any question? Or
No,
all?
ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. You, like always, you look good only.
My mic was 98 का access बोल देता है. Thanks, ma'am.
Okay, so I will now let's end up it. Tomorrow, whenever the routing will come into picture, yes, there will be a lot of things you have to do. Okay?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, so everyone, I see you all by tomorrow then. Okay, we shall see the routing thing. Okay.